Welcome to Model Horse Tack School. My name is Carrie, and today we're going to do the flat English side saddle. This is the English side saddle type 2 in my book. We'll just talk about the materials. This says craft foam. I use a suede for this. You could also use craft felt if you wanted to. I just think the suede has more body, more structure to it than the craft felt. Aluminum can, which of course we always use. That's your tree, or we always use for trees. Then we have the craft felt. This is all padding, so just regular craft felt. This here can be any type of scrap, either suede or skyver or something, and it doesn't even have to be the same color as the rest of the saddle, so just needs to be something that's going to hold all the parts down. Suede or chamois. I really like chamois for this. I think it's thin and workable, so that's what I'm going to use, is chamois. Over here we have your two 3-ounce, and it can be either a chrome tanned or it can be a tooling leather. So either way, this is totally optional. Remember, this type of seat or this type of saddle rarely has the pouch.
And here we go. We're going to take the safe, that's the bigger of the flaps, and we're going to put the little jockey. It's a little itty bitty jockey, just goes in there to cover that steer pole, helps from that getting a pinch on the leg from that strap. So go ahead and tuck that in, glue it, get it straight, and then wipe off any excess glue if you have any. Now I do prefer a chrome tanned. I think it's more flexible, it's drapier, so I would recommend that if you have a chrome tanned rather than a tooling leather for this. Now we're going to work on the heads. The heads are identical, except that they're mirrored image. So we have the padding, which is a chamois on the inside, and then on the outside we have the chrome tanned. We can kind of let those sit for a bit, but make sure that you get the mirroring right. It just makes everything fit better. So now we're going to put the cover on there. And these are a little bit different. We want the suede to come around the side of the heads. So what we're going to do is put some glue right around the edge, because it's the edge that we're gluing. See, we're going to glue just the edge. And we're going to glue it all the way around to the tip. The tip is the most difficult. You're going to get at least 3 little buckles there. You need to push those to the back. Kind of like you do on an English saddle when you're doing the seat, but here we're doing it on the heads. So go ahead and push those back. And I would absolutely let these dry. Don't do any more trimming until they're actually dry, until you see the glue is no longer white. And that's what I did here. And now I'm just going to trim the sides flush with the back. So you can see the suede goes all the way around, or the chamois, which is a suede, goes all the way around the side. And trim it, and then check that tip and try to get that to look as round as possible.
Okay, so we're going to do the seat. I'm going to take the 2 felt pieces and the suede piece. I'm going to bend the offside to a 90, and then the other side to about a 45 degree. That way it'll fit your skirts better. Go ahead and glue on the suede first. That gives you a nice base, nice structure there. You want to pay attention to that little tip that points outwards. That's on the left-hand side of the saddle. It's flipped upside down. But make sure you get that glued down really well, because it likes to move around when you're putting the seat on. Go ahead and get your second layer of glue on. There you go. And now we're going to pull out the seat cover piece. Now you're going to center it in the very front where those 2 cut lines are. You're going to be right behind that. So the tab in the front is what covers the cut back part of your saddle. I always start with the side middle. Get that up and over the bent piece, glue that in place. On the other side, you're going to pull it tight, but not too tight. You don't want any wrinkles. You pull too tight, you'll probably get wrinkles. Check for wrinkles. There should be a nice smooth seat when you're done. Then we do tabs on the other side, or on one side, and then the matching tabs on the other side. There's actually 2. In this case, I only did 1. Should have done both, but you get the idea. All right, now we're going to do the center. I did not do the cut in the center. This worked for me because I've done these before, but if you're not sure, go ahead and use that cut and do one side at a time. The most important thing is to cover that cut back, so you can't see the cut back in the front.
pull it so you don't have any wrinkles. This is going to be a really smooth seat. All right, once I got the cut back, then I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of the tab down. The one over that left side, I put a little extra glue there, so I'm gluing that tab down right there. Put my thumb, cut away the excess, and then we're going to go ahead and cut away the excess around the arm of that tree support. There you go. Now we're going to do the back. It's like any English saddle. Oh, trim, yeah, like any English saddle. Trim out the bulk. Glue all the way around the back. And then we are going to work out any wrinkles. So I'm going to put the two sides down, use a stylus, pull the rest towards the center, and then push all of those wrinkles towards the center so that you have a really smooth back of seat. No wrinkles in the back of seat. The chamois is great for this. Of all the suedes that I use on these seats, the chamois works the best. It's the easiest. And now I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the bulk. I started it with scissors and then I finished using my clippers, whatever works for you. We just want to get rid of all of those little darts or bunches or whatever you want to call them. But there you go. Nice soft seat. Next step is to go ahead and take the leaping head that's straight, pointing towards the front of the saddle. So the straight edge, the curved edge is on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and bend that at a 90 degree, and then we're going to glue down the suede and the aluminum. And getting rid of a little glue there, but you can like pull that tip so it's curved inward. All right, we're going to make 5 Ds and then 1 jump ring strap. So the jump ring there is about a 5 millimeter, 6 millimeter. I use a lot of 6s, and that would be for your stirrup bar. You're going to put the first D right in the very front of the right side of the saddle, and then we're going to put the flap right over that. Now it sticks out. You want that D to stick out. That's your martingale D. Do not glue down the back of the tab. That back tail, leave it unglued. Then we're going to take 2 more of those D's and we're going to glue them so that they hang just over that flap. Now you can put them as close together or as far apart as you want. They're usually right there where that curve is, and then about the distance of that little bag. All right, now I've already put the safe, glued the safe in place. You just follow the curve. You also glue down the front, and now I'm putting in the other head. I'm tucking in that extra chamois into those slits that we made ahead of time, that slit. Making sure we tuck that in. You can glue down the bottom of that tab if you want. That chamois to the metal might work better. And now I'm going to glue the metal onto the back of the seat. Put that aside. Now we're going to make, this is the D for the stirrup bar. I didn't redo using needles for the stirrup bar on this. Just find the D is easier. Go ahead and glue that so it hangs just above the hole for the stirrup underneath that jockey in the safe flap. But there you go, just above it. And I'm just going to go ahead and keep that in place for now. All right, now we're going to do the bottom of the saddle. You've got the 2 suede paddings and 2 pieces of chamois. Flip them upside down, glue them right along the seam there. See how that fits straight down like that. So you have to flip them over. And then you glue them in place, and then a little glue there and roll it over. So now you have a finished edge. There you go. Do the same for the other side. Doesn't take a lot of glue. The chamois is pretty good about sticking very little glue. Now what you want to make sure is that you've got an edge all the way around. And then we'll go ahead and glue down just the front part, not the seat part, but just the front part onto the wrong side of the base piece. And go ahead and get your fingernail in there so that they show. And same thing on the other side, all the way around it. Go ahead and glue that in place.
There we go. And now we've got these felt pieces. So you want to stack them so they match. You have a thinner one and a thicker one, and you want to glue them so they stack. There should be 3 in each stack. Sometimes they misbehave. You have to glue them again. You'll get all 3 stacks of padding. This is a very padded seat. It's got to be comfortable, most comfortable of all the side saddles. And we'll go ahead and tuck those right in there, and that lifts up the back of the seat. There you go. And now we're going to go ahead and glue down around that curve. And this is very much like every English saddle. You just want to get rid of any wrinkles on the very back of the seat. So using a stylus is really helpful because it can tuck in there better than fingers. Let's go ahead and get that all flattened. And I'm going to take one of those D's, put that right in the center between those two. That is your Kruper D. You can hook or whatever you want onto that, hook or buckle. I like hooks on these English saddles. There you go, trimmed. And now these are the billet straps. The 4 straps go on the bigger side, the safe flap. All right, and now I'm going to, of course, trim up any bulk now that the glue is kind of set, so that when I glue these two together, they're going to be flat together. Still need the cross strap, so it's about 3 to 4 inches, depending upon how much you want hanging over. Goes at a diagonal, and that'll make it strong. And now we're going to do the pins. So I'm going to do 1 pin. The offside is easier. The pin between the jumping heads is right in front of the jumping heads. Offside is pretty basic. It's going to be right behind the D. And then well, there's no hole, pre-hole, because it just depends. No pre-punched hole, it just depends upon how you do things. But get those 2 pins in there, and then that piece that I said glues everything down. It doesn't have to be the same color as the saddle. I picked a blue. It was a little bit obvious, and it did show in the front, which didn't make me happy, but I just had to re-glue things down. Just doing a final check to make sure everything is sitting right and that I don't have any aluminum showing, and scratching off a little bit of excess glue, which happens. And sometimes that's what I'll do. I'll just scrape it a little bit with a razor. All right, now we're going to get ready to go ahead and glue the top to the bottom. So I'm squeezing a lot of glue. I need a really good bond. So I'm going to be very generous on the glue here. And go ahead and use my stylus to make sure I get all the way to the edge. And we're talking about suede here, so I really don't want anything to go over and be too much, but I do need lots. So I'm going to match it around the back because that's what's going to be seen the most. And go ahead and squash that closed with some really good clamps. Be careful not to clamp down your heads. I've done that before. Put the clamp in the wrong place and just smash the heads. Now, they're made of aluminum, so they're not real strong, so you really don't want to work them too much. All right, now that the glue has dried, we're going to go ahead and do the flaps and get them right in the crack, right between the two, the bottom and the top. And then same thing on the other side, and they should match and stop right where that D is for your Kruper. Now, I forgot to put that other D on the other side for the martingale, so I'm just tucking that in there, and then I'll re-glue that down and clamp it. That was a boo-boo, but nothing that can't be fixed. This is the stirrup leather. you know, 5, 6, 7 inches. It really depends upon the length of your doll's leg. But anyways, you're going to tuck it through that little hole, flip it around that jump ring, feed it on back down. And I had to reclamp that because I pulled it apart to get that D in. Go ahead and buckle it, and then the buckle should just disappear right underneath that little flap. You are allowed to use a keeper on these stirrup leathers. So we just go ahead and use just a piece of 3/32 leather lace that's been skived, and that's the keeper. So yeah, I was playing around making sure that buckle disappeared underneath that little flap. There you go, a little bit of playing with it. I always play with them, make sure they're going to look good once they're in a third dimension, because it's a little flat right now. But there you go. It's all ready to be tacked up. See the girth videos. There's 2 different girths. See the girth videos for how to put it on a horse. But anyways, thank you for spending time with me today. Like, subscribe, tell all your friends about this channel, and you have yourself a really good day.